Hi everyone, Anthony Morganti here. Recently, Skylum Software updated Luminar Neo to version 1.17.0. This update includes a new feature, GenExpand. GenExpand is the third generative tool that has been added to Luminar Neo. It joins GenSwap. GenSwap allows you to replace specific elements in your photos with AI-generated visuals that integrate with the rest of your image. It also includes GenErase. GenErase allows you to remove unwanted elements from your images while seamlessly filling in the gaps with textures and elements that match the surrounding areas. The new feature, GenExpand, GenExpand allows you to effortlessly extend the boundaries of your photos, whether you're creating landscapes or portraits, and adds more space to your favorite shots. To get GenExpand, you need to be a pro subscriber or own a Creative Journey Pass. In today's video, I'm going to give you an honest assessment of GenExpand, demonstrating situations where it works best and situations will be sure to fail miserably. Okay, now GenExpand is in the catalog section of Luminar Neo. It's on the right-hand panel with the other generative tools. When you want to use it, just click on an image when you're in the catalog section of Luminar Neo, and just click on GenExpand, or you could just click on an image when you're in grid view like I am, and just drag that image right onto GenExpand, and it will open the image up into GenExpand. What it does, it examines the image, determines what's in the scene, and then gives you handles which allow you to expand the canvas. Now, it works best on images such as this that don't have anything too complicated on the edges. So if you had like a person's face there, like part of their face, and you have to like add an eye, an eyebrow, and hair, and ear, that's complicated and it's probably going to fail. But if it is something uniform, like in this case, it's just like a blurred out background, it should work fine. Also work fine, I found, on like skies. It works well usually, land, sea, like uniform land, like just like a grass field, uniform trees. But if there's like houses in there and cars in there, then it starts to get a little more complicated and it will tend to fail. Also, Skylum says that it works best if you expand one side at a time and if you do it in smaller increments. So that means you'd have to do it a lot if you want an image expanded quite a bit by, doing one side at a time and doing smaller increments. Also, I should add that it uses the cloud for processing, so you'd need an active internet connection, and of course it depends on the speed of your internet connection, because it has to upload the image to the cloud and then download the resultant image from the cloud. Also, what will affect speed is how busy their servers are. So if they're getting a lot of generative requests on their servers, it's going to take a lot longer than maybe in an off-peak hour. Now for this image, let's just say that I want the chickadee to be looking out into more blank space. So I want to expand the right side of the canvas. Now, it will only allow you to go so far. So even the claim that if you do smaller increments, it works best. Even if you want to go a lot, it will only let it go so far. Once you bring it out to the amount you want, you have the option of typing something here that you could add to the image. In this case, I'm not going to add anything. I just wanted to use the existing elements that are in the scene and then use that to fill in this gap. So I'm going to leave this blank. Then I'm just going to click expand. Now we'll send it up to the cloud and it will do its calculations and whatever up there, and then it will send the resultant down. Now, like all these generative tools, now this isn't just the generative tools that are in Luminar Neo, but I'm also talking about the generative tools in Photoshop. They're all kind of hit and miss. This is like early generations of these tools, and they're really not tuned to work perfectly first try. So prepare to be frustrated, because a lot of times like this, it worked fine, but you're going to encounter something that will seem to you to be relatively simple. It's just going to fail miserably out of the blue. Or you'll have an image where it worked fine one time, and then you have maybe the same exact image or a very similar image, and you're doing the same exact thing to it, and it will fail the second time. It's kind of maddening. So all right, I like this. If I didn't like it, I could click expand again, and it's going to try to then redo that area that I expanded. If I like this though, and I just want to bring it out further, because it does say that it works best in smaller increments, just do it again. We'll drag it out. Now when I click expand again, it's going to fill in this area, and it's not going to do anything to the area it already filled. It's thinking that I like this part. So I'm keeping it, and that's what it will do. It won't touch that area again. So we'll click expand and see what it does. Now again, I've tried this before I did the video, and it often worked fine like it did now. But every now and then it would add a tree there, and I didn't want the tree there. And although it actually looked okay, it wasn't something that I was envisioning. So it was kind of frustrating, only because the AI and myself weren't on the same page. It looks okay, right? Now let's go this way. I want to expand it out this way, but not as far. I just want to have that chickadee a little more towards the middle. And you can see when I click, it gave me a rule of thirds overlay. So that helps. I want the chickadee on that left-hand rule of thirds line, and I want the center of the chickadee right there. So I just want to expand it a little bit. So hopefully it will just expand this branch out. It's not going to add a tree there or anything like that. We'll click expand, see what it does. And you can see it's working relatively fast. I do have a very fast internet connection, and apparently their servers aren't super busy at the moment. But I was trying it earlier, and it must have been a lot of people trying it at the same time I was, and it took a long time. So now this one's taking a little longer. And two, I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think it may take longer if it has a more complicated fill. Granted, this is probably the simplest fill you could find. It did great. So if you like it, click save. And what it will do, it doesn't touch the original file. It will put the resultant file in a folder that it creates that it calls Generative Creations. Anything you do with the generative tools, the resultant image will be put in this folder. So you'll find it there. Now I'll go back to my original working album, and you can see that the original image is untouched. So nothing was done to it. So that's great. It's non-destructive. Now, I want to make you aware of a couple things. There is a resolution resolution issue that I found. Let's go to this image. This was taken with the Sony a7R IV. I no longer own that camera, so I can't check, but I could probably Google it, but if I recall, it was like a 60 megapixel sensor. So it's super high resolution. When you have an image such as this is like 9,504 pixels by 6,336 pixels, like it's uncropped, right? And you want to expand the canvas. The part where it expands, often it would be very noticeable because the resolution is lower. So let's try this. Let's go to GenExpand, and let's just say that I cut off part of the flowers. I did it on purpose, obviously. I was trying to get in real tight. But let's just say that I want to come down this way a little bit. So I'm going to expand it like on both sides. This is the way they claim not to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so I'm expanding all the way around. So I want more of the petals down here and up here in the shot. And I'm not going to type anything here, and we're going to click expand. Now, if it doesn't make a lawyer out of me, like I said, this is hit and miss, you're going to see a very defined line of where the original image is or was and where the expanded part of the image begins. And that's because this is a 60 megapixel or an image that was created from a camera that has a 60 megapixel sensor. And I believe whatever it uses as reference aren't as high resolution, and often you get these lines that are maddening, and it's unusable. So be aware of that. So if you do have a super high megapixel camera, expect this issue, and we have that issue. Let's zoom in maybe to 100%. No, that's too much. Let's zoom in to maybe 50%. And let's just go this way. Okay, do you see what I'm talking about? See how like refined and smooth the original image is? And then we go out to the expanded part, and you can see how it doesn't look good at all. And you're going to encounter this every single time with that high megapixel camera. So be aware of that. I hate to be a negative Nancy. I always try to make my my videos positive, but then again, I don't want to give you a false sense of how good the tool is right now. I could load up images here that I know will work fine every single time, and you're thinking, wow, this is great. And then you buy it, or worse yet, you use my link in the description below this video on my promo code to buy it, and I make a commission on it, and then you hate it. And I couldn't live with myself if I did that. So let's do another one. What I found, again, it works pretty well on images that have like sky in them and water in them, in like uniform land, like grass field or uniform trees. If anything is a little bit complicated, like that field has houses in it and a barn in it and horses in it, then it starts to act a little wacky. Now, this image should work okay, although this was taken with the Sony A7R IV as well, so we may have that resolution issue I talked about. So let's go to GenExpand, and I want to just add more to the right side of the image. So not a lot. We're not going to go crazy here. So once it's done discerning what is in the scene, and it gives me the handles, I'm going to go to the right-hand side. I'm just going to pull this up. So I want to add some sky, and I want to add some water, and we're going to click Expand. Now, I tried this before I did the video, and it actually did a fine job on this. But like I said, this is hit and miss, and you'll never get the same result twice, or rarely get the same result twice. And that's where it can be maddening, because you'll have an image that it worked fine on, then you'll have a very similar image that you want to do the same exact thing to, and it will fail on that image for whatever reason. So that could be kind of maddening. So let it do its thing. It's still taking a little longer this time, and hopefully it works okay, so I don't have to keep ragging on it. And then I'll show you when you add something to it by typing in on this line here. This actually looks okay. Let's zoom in, again, do 50% and go this way. There is a line here. All right, see this line? All right, it's not as obvious here because we have a little more busier of a background with the clouds, but there is that line there. You don't notice it in the water, but you can see it up in the sky. So, you know, I've noticed it, though, with these high megapixel count sensor cameras, that it will do that. But let's just save that too, all right, just for the heck of it. And, okay, I want to show you something here. Oh, this is the image I want to do. All right, this is where it probably will fail because I want to expand the bottom. Like, basically, when I'm done with this image, I want less of the top, so I'm going to crop that away, and I want her feet in the shot, all right? So let's try that without adding anything there yet. All right, let's just try that. Now, it won't let me at this point, like, take away, so I can't crop down with the crop tool like this. So later on, I'll have to crop away the top part of the image with the crop tool. But right now, I just want to add to the bottom. So we'll just add to the bottom. I'm not going to type anything there. Now this, it has to figure out what her feet look like and what her pant legs look like. And then not only that, the ground and the wall. And we'll click Expand. So I didn't type anything there, all right? And this is kind of odd. What I found a lot of different images where I tried doing this, it would put garbage. And I'm talking about garbage, not like messed up pixels. I'm talking about as though she was sitting at a garbage dump and there was actual refuse piled up to her. There, it did it. See what I'm talking about? I don't know why it does that. That is just maddening to me. All right. So, yeah. So it does this a lot. I'll click Expand again. And while it's doing this a second time, I want to mention that if you go to my website, AnthonyMorganti.com, and I'll have a link to this page in the description below this video, I have a free Luminar Neo keyboard shortcut PDF that you could download from my website and print at home. The keyboard shortcuts here also apply to Luminar AI. So if you have Luminar AI, these keyboard shortcuts will work fine with that application as well. Also, if you go to my website, AnthonyMorganti.com, you can see that I have 3 different free keyboard shortcuts, one for Lightroom Classic, one for On1 Photo Raw, and the one I just mentioned for Luminar Neo. You could download any or all of those from my website and print them at home. I also have a Lightroom Classic course. I I have some products. I have Lightroom presets. I have Lightroom profiles. I have On One Photo Raw presets. I am currently developing presets for Luminar Neo. I should have those done later today or tomorrow. When I do, I'll have them on the website as well. And I have them, when they are done, listed in the description below this video. And I have LUTs too that I sell for $9. These are 3D LUTs. LUTs work in Luminar Neo in the Mood tool. So in the Mood tool, you could add third-party LUTs to it and use these LUTs in Luminar Neo. Let's go see what the results are, though. Okay, it added like coral and boulders and stuff like that. All right, so that's just bad. Let's cancel out of this for a minute, but then go back into it because I want to type something in. So I'm going to expand down here. Again, I'm expanding a lot. All right, it does work better if you do it little at a time. So it would add a little over leg, and maybe I'll do that at the end. But let's type something here. I want a dog there. So I'm just going to type dog. Now, I found that if I write add a dog, it puts the words add a dog. It doesn't actually put a dog there. So I found it works better if you just type exactly what you want there, dog, nothing else. And then we'll click expand. Now, even doing it this way, I've had it add the word dog there. All right. It did that once, but every other time it would add dogs, like it had 2 dogs usually. And a lot of times the dogs were deformed. And I found that with Photoshop as well, that it doesn't always add like a realistic looking object. Like here, it added a dog, and look at her feet kind of look okay. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Go to 50% and zoom down. But the dog is not right. All right, that's not a good looking dog. That dog is, not good. Her legs don't look right either, technically. Just doesn't look well. All right, so you could try it again. Click expand again, see what it does. But again, if you get anything a little bit too complicated, it's going to fail. It's just not going to work well. And I don't want to sound like I'm just ragging on Luminar Neo. I found the exact same thing with generative expand that is in Photoshop and all the generative tools in Photoshop. It just tends to not do a good job when you want to add things like this. Now you could see this dog just doesn't look right. And her feet are messed up too. It just doesn't look right. So we'll cancel out of that. Now I want to try one more because this is the first image I tried in it. And believe it or not, it worked perfectly for what I was trying to do. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. But every time I tried it since then, it's failed. What I want to do is I want to go to GenExpand and I want to add to the left-hand side like this. This is what I did. I didn't expand it that much to the left, but I expanded a lot towards the bottom. And I wanted it to add her legs to the image and add something that she's sitting on. And I should have saved the image. I didn't. What it added was like she was sitting on like a ledge, and the ledge had like it was draped in like I don't know, like cloth, and her legs were there. It looked perfect. It looked fine. And then every time I tried it since, it has just had deformed legs and deformed like seats and ledges and everything else. So let's see what it does and let it do its thing. Now, I'm a little late to the party doing this video. This was actually released yesterday on December 14th, but I couldn't do a video yesterday. I was busy doing something else. And doing it today, it didn't do a good job. Like over here is okay, I guess, but the seat she's sitting on is deformed. Her leg is deformed. We'll click expand again. Anyway, I did take the opportunity to look at other people's videos this morning, which I typically don't do because I try not to copy things other people do, even subconsciously, like another person who does a video on GenExpand or whatever, and I don't want to have them influence my video. But those folks were generally getting better results than me, so I encourage you to watch their videos. Now, I'm not sure if they were getting better results because they cherry-picked images that they knew would work perfectly with it, or if my images just suck and they don't work as well with it, or what. But watch, go to YouTube and just search for GenExpand and watch other people's videos, and hopefully you get a better sense of how it works. This doesn't look bad at all, does it? I mean, her leg looks realistic. This leg might look a little funky, but it looks okay. I'll save that one. All right, so that one turned out a little better. And this is a little more of a complicated situation here. So I think it looks all right. But anyway, that's GenExpand. Again, it's the first iteration of the tool. It's going to get better. It will evolve, and probably 2-3 years from now, we won't even have an issue with it at all. It'll work fine the first time, every time, and it'll work super fast. And I expect the similar tools in Photoshop will work better as well. So if you're a Photoshop user and you're used to using it in Photoshop, I expect that to be better, or to work better as well. Main thing I want them to fix is that resolution issue that I showed you when you're using a high megapixel camera, because it's annoying, first of all. Second of all, I hope that it is, it improves it. Now, your image is still a high resolution image that it does produce. Like, this was the Sony A7R4, which is the 60 megapixel. And you can see this expanded canvas now is 10,467 pixels by 7,015 pixels. So it does expand your existing resolution. It doesn't give you back like a smaller image that it just has expanded edges. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So that does work as you would expect it to work. But overall, again, it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. Again, in the description of this video, I'll have links to Skylum's website with a discount code. I also have links to my website where you could download that free PDF and visit there. If you're interested in those presets, just keep visiting my website, and hopefully within a day or so, I'll have some presets up there as well. I'm hoping to have 50 presets. They're going to sell for $19, but when I first send them out, they're on sale. I usually take $5 off, so they'll be $14. So look for that very soon. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.